Let's travel back in time and explore the incredible life of a woman who went from being unknown to legendary. Today, we're diving into the story of Joan of Arc. She was a brave and determined woman whose courage and strong beliefs didn't just go against the norms of her time, but also changed history in a big way. Get ready for a fascinating journey into the life of Joan of Arc, a person who became a symbol of inspiration during challenging times. Joan of Arc's story begins in a small village called Domremy in the year 1412, a time when big wars were happening. Joan grew up surrounded by the troubles and confusion of a world at war. In the midst of all this, Joan paid close attention to what was happening. She saw how tough life was for her family and others in the village. The stories she heard about brave fighters and villages in trouble became a big part of her everyday life. As Joan got older, her strong sense of what she wanted to do grew too. It was like the beginning of a special story about a girl from a small village who would go on to do amazing things, changing the course of history. When Joan became a teenager, something really special happened. It wasn't just growing up, it was like having magical moments. Joan started seeing things that others couldn't see and hearing voices that felt important, like messages from a friend above. It wasn't an ordinary day for a teenager. It was the start of something amazing. These visions and voices made Joan feel like she had a big job to do. She thought these weren't just random dreams, but messages from God, telling her to do something important. Imagine being a teenager and feeling like you had a mission given to you by a higher power. That's exactly what Joan felt. Joan's strong belief in her special mission took her on a tough journey to meet Charles V in the city of Chinon in 1429. Picture this journey like an exciting adventure story, with Joan facing challenges and dangers along the way. As Joan walked through the old-timey landscapes, it wasn't an easy stroll. She dealt with bumpy paths, unpredictable weather, and the worry of running into enemies. But what made Joan's journey really special wasn't just the tough parts. It was how brave and determined she was. Even when things got hard, Joan stayed true to her beliefs, showing a kind of strength that inspired others. Her journey wasn't just about getting from one place to another. It was like a story of someone who believed so much in making a difference that she faced everything head-on. Now, imagine Joan arriving in Chinon, a place where people were always up to tricky political stuff. Even though Joan wore simple clothes, her presence felt powerful. The determined girl from Domremy, with her strong beliefs, had come to a city full of twists and turns. In Chinon, Joan's journey wasn't just about going somewhere. It was about a brave girl meeting her destiny and starting to change the future of a whole country. Let's dive into a crucial moment in Joan's journey, the Siege of Orléans in 1429. Weeks went by, and the conflict wasn't going well for France. A French attempt to cut the besiegers' line of supply was defeated, and the defenders of Orléans were considering capitulation. That's where today's historical figure comes in. Joan of Arc managed to convince Charles VII to send an army to relieve the city. On April 30th, Joan managed to sneak into the city to deliver supplies. A few days after that, Charles' army started the storm of Orléans. After that, it took no longer than a week for the Suffolk to abandon the siege. All of this wouldn't be possible if not the inspiration that Joan of Arc gave to the French soldiers. It was an ultimate proof of Joan's strategic brilliance and her ability to inspire hope in the midst of adversity. Now, let's travel back to July 17th, 1429, the coronation day of Charles VII. This was the moment Joan was looking up to from the beginning of her journey. And the visions were, she was granted the mission to relieve France by installing Charles as the king. Joan was present in the Reims Cathedral during the coronation. Her presence there was noticed by the people of France, who appreciated her accomplishments for their country. Joan of Arc, who from a small village completed a challenging journey and was now on the royal court, felt that she completed her task and that France is saved. Even though it seemed like it, Joan's journey would not have a happy ending, and the next 2 years would be tragic for her. The 23rd of May 1430 was a horrific day for Joan of Arc. She was currently in the city Compiègne, trying to fight off the Burgundians who had taken the city. Joan had repelled the Burgundians twice, but she was eventually outflanked and captured. Sadly, Charles didn't make any attempts of saving her, as he was working towards a truce with the Duke of Burgundy. Further on, Joan was passed to the hands of Bishop of Beauvais and moved to a tower castle in Bouvray. She were to be judged of things like witchcraft, heresy, and dressing like a man, and brought to trial, which was to take place at an English church court at Rouen in Normandy. It appeared that nothing could be done, and that her fate was already exaggerated. She was found guilty of all the accusations and sentenced to death. She was executed on the 30th of May, 1431. Even though over 500 years have passed, she still lives in the French people and culture. And that's it for today. If you found this video valuable, drop a like and subscription below. See you in the next video, where we will dive deeper in the history of our race.